everything on it. So I just had to go turn that off. Am I on? Is this thing on? Tick, tick, tick. I don't see anybody here. Oh my goodness. All right, well, let's see if we can find me. I do not see anything. Anyone? I have. No connection. Connection available. There it is. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Facebook even shows that I'm on. Anyone? It's super weird. It says that I'm live. I do not see a soul. I do not see one person. Here we go. Finally. Man, this thing. What is up? Hello, Trisha. Good to see you. And Penny Moore is in the house. Hi, Penny. Come on in. Hello, Amy. I went looking for you too. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Susan and Diane. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good whatever. Good day. Martha and Vanessa. Hello, pretty Emily. I'm going to be seeing you on Saturday. I'm excited about that. Everybody's coming on in. There we go. I guess it takes a minute for the hamsters to keep the wheels going or something. Hi, Yolanda. And there's Lucy. How is everyone today? Oh, I'm so glad to see you. It took a minute. I felt like I was talking to, well, I was on right at 1 o'clock and it wouldn't do anything. Crazy. There's Gwen. So I'm glad everybody's pouring in. It's a wonderful Tuesday, isn't it? Hi, Joanne. Good old Joanne. I love, there's so many people, so many of you, and I just want to acknowledge you that you show up day after day and you are interacting and you're talking and you're sharing. And I appreciate you so much. You just have absolutely no idea how you make my day. There's Catherine. And I really, it just makes me feel loved and cared about, and it's my community. I don't feel isolated when I'm here. I feel connected, and you do that. You are the ones who create the community. I simply open the space up, and here you all come. And for that, I just have my heart is full, and I just have the greatest appreciation. So I say thank you. Because you keep the lights on over here. Literally, you keep the lights on. And it means the world to me. So thank you for that. And, sometimes we have hundreds in here, sometimes we have less than there, and then it gets shared a bunch and we get thousands watching these videos. And you know what I look at? I always look at and I think there is one person out there that this touched their heart and they saw a place for themselves in this community. And you welcome them with open arms. And for that, there's nothing more beautiful than that. And Diane, you are valued too. And Tay, all of you, it really is something to behold. And I appreciate that so much. So we have, obviously we have, this is my business. My business is Saving Dinner, and I help to bring families back to the dinner table. I have been doing this since the 90s. I have been doing this as a freelance writer. And then when I started Saving Dinner in 2001, that's when everything started to come together. And we opened the doors in January to help families get back to the dinner table. It will always be my mission in life to do this because I believe healing and health and connection happens at the lowliest place of all, the dinner table. It is a place where people feel that they belong. They're a part of that small itty bitty tiny community. And it just makes so much sense when you really think about it. And today we're going to be talking about creating a clean slate. There's a Psalm 51, create in me a clean heart. It's one of my favorite Psalms. I know a lot of you love it. This is when David is repenting from his great sins. And, King David was great, but he was also extraordinarily flawed, as all humans are, and he had a lot of great sins. The thing that made David great, though, was the tenderness of his heart and the ability to recognize and to see that there were flaws in him, and that he alone could not just heal them up, that he needed to look up and ask the Creator to fix things for him. He couldn't do it himself. He just could feel the great burden of his sin. And I think right now this is a really important thing to look at, because it is not just about, and when I'm talking about this, I'm not just talking about, King David. I'm not talking about sin. I'm not talking about, I'm not having a religious thing here. I'm trying to do the correlation between what it means to recognize within you something that needs correction. And we all have that. We all have the capacity for understanding that. And that's where I want to go today. And it might be a little bit of a poke on you, but it's been a poke on me. I share what's going on in my own life. I share what's going on within my own heart. And I'll share as much as I can. I keep it as personal as I can, but I also recognize the need for privacy and the extraordinary personal nature that this is. And so take from this what you will. It's a buffet table. It's a buffet table. Some of this may apply for you. Some of it may not. But from it, I believe that when we are looking for lessons and we're looking for somebody to speak into our lives, and we are giving people the opportunity to see what it is that they need to see, we see it, Permission granted. That's all I'm saying. Permission granted. And so give yourself that permission. Give yourself that like, okay, we're just going to do this for 15, 20 minutes. We're just going to go there. Because when we go there, things happen. Things shift. Things change. Our perspective, our sight, our vision for our lives. And we start to create things a little bit differently. And we start to make sure that, we're maybe rearranging the furniture in the house a little bit so we're not stumbling all the time. And for me, there is psychological implications for clearing the slate. And we get to do that, which is one of the wonderful things about being a human being. We get to clear the slate. We don't have to walk around with the burden of all the stuff. We don't. We simply don't. And we're going to talk about that, because for me, I found the ability to be able to do that changed my entire life, changed the course of my entire life, changed my career, changed everything. And we'll get there in just half a second. First of all, I just wanted to, one, acknowledge you, and two, thank you for how you are sharing, and thank you for how you are bringing community in. Our community is precious. Our community is special. And having this community means everything. It means we are not isolated. We have opportunities to come together. And we know that, our lives are different right now. They're not the same as they were 3 months ago. And because of this, and because we're all kind of scratching and clawing our way to understand what life is about right now, we need each other a lot. And we need to be able to have the ability to speak into each other's lives in a kind and loving way, of course. Harshness is never okay. It just isn't. And I learned that lesson super hard. And it took me a while to learn it, because I can have such a sharp tongue, and I don't say that in a braggadocious way at all. I say that in a way that's just like, it has been my undoing in a lot of ways. And I have had to learn that this needs to not be okay. My thing is words. I love words. I love to write. I love to speak, and I love to feel all the feels and just go there. And when you are like that, you just have to be very careful. Honesty is one thing. Being honest and truthful is one thing. Being harsh is something completely unacceptable. Unacceptable. Harshness harms. Harshness destroys. And it doesn't have to be a part of the equation. And it doesn't need to be a part of truthfulness. Truthfulness can be buffeted a little bit so that it's loving. Truthfulness when appropriate, and sometimes it's appropriate to just not say anything, but never to someone's harm, of course. You don't say anything to someone's harm. You always have to be this person who follows that, the bouncing ball, so to speak. So I just wanted to tell you, though, too, that we got in a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. Vanilla protein is in. Our perfect paleo protein is in. It's vanilla. We have limited quantities, and believe me, if you want it, get thyself to the shop and grab it. Perfect paleo protein. We have chocolate and vanilla right in. I think we just ran out of unflavored. Again, supply chain is everything right now. As you can imagine, we're in a weird time, and so our stuff is just, sometimes we get it and sometimes we don't. We have stuff that's running tomorrow. That's a whole new line of stuff. I'll tell you about that tomorrow. Once they send me we shipped it to you, and here is your confirmation link, I'll tell you about it then. Alrighty. So listen, L-glutamine. I had a lot of people ask me about this because I demonstrated it yesterday. I'm going to demonstrate it again for you today because it is one of those things that has the science behind it. It's an easy, inexpensive way to help yourself as you're trying to create a clean slate with your eating. Cravings are real. Food addiction is real. You want me to, let me introduce myself. My name is Leanne Ely. I'm a food addict. I crave foods. I have fought cravings, food addiction for most of my life. And am I over it? I would say I'm about 80% over it. 100%? No. And I think this is part of the human equation. It's part of the human equation. We fight. We fight for what we want. Have you noticed that? You fight for a relationship. You fight for a child who's being wrongly accused of something. And you need to fight for yourself. This is a way to fight for yourself. If you have food addictions, if you have cravings, and if you feel like you're a victim of the whole thing, girlfriend, order some L-glutamine today, because here's what it is. And this is a psychiatrist, an MD, who showed me that this stuff actually physiologically takes care of the cravings. Put it in a dish, put your clean finger in water, put it in your mouth, put it on your teeth, your gums, your tongue. Watch what happens. It cuts the craving off right at the knees. And I know I saw a lot of people in here. They will tell you this is the truth because they've used it. It cuts off the cravings at the knees because there's a pleasure center in your head. And I don't care what turns that pleasure center on. You could be addicted to anything. Anything. If you're addicted to, I don't know, let's say sex, let's say alcohol, let's say heroin, sugar, carbs, all the same area of the brain. This cuts it off, and I just cut mine off. You do it like that. It also heals your gut, which is massively important because we need our immune systems on alert right now. I don't need to explain that to you. So here's the thing. Emily says, my cravings are so strong, I have to drink L-glutamine in gulps in the morning. I get it. We also have Crave Crusher. I think we still have some of that in the shop. I take 4 in the morning, and it absolutely, I don't even think about the cravings anymore because it helps me. But the L-glutamine this is like in your face, get it done, take care of it. And it's amazing. We have it in the shop, and the price has gone down. By the way, the price has gone down. There's 30 servings in this. It's a smaller container. You can see that. Put it on your desk. It will change your life. I'm sorry, but this stuff is absolutely critical. With this and also Crave Crusher, which is in the shop. I believe we still have some. I love it. So here's the other thing too. I have the privilege and the opportunity to watch what is happening. And we have our distribution center in our basement. You should see it. We have brought everything home, and I am so grateful for that because we have so much more control. And So when I see your orders coming in and I see every single one of them and I see something where I see a continuity there and I see people who are doing this, you might get a little card from me. Sorry, everything's backwards. I have these little cards that just say, bless your heart, love you, you are the best, and just a word of encouragement to say thank you. So if you're if you're going into the shop and you're buying the L-glutamine, which by the way ships free, and that's the promo code that you use, and you put anything else in there and it's about $200, you will get a mindful mug. Yes, you will get a mindful mug, and you'll also get a little note from me. So I just love that. I love being able to have some hands on you and touch you and say I love you and say that you're the best. And that's what I do because I'm watching. Isn't it fun that we have this opportunity to build each other up like that? I love it. So don't forget, ships free is your promo code. You have to have L-glutamine in there, but you can add anything else in there. And as long as you're in the United States, it ships free. So I'm cooking at 4 o'clock today. I've got Mark on the grill. I'm going to show you how to do a pork loin and how to do a pork loin on the grill. I just realized, you know what? The rest of the country is getting warm. Where I'm still in my flannels. I'm still chilly. But the rest of the country is starting to warm up. How about we start some grilling stuff, right? I have the best pork loin in the whole world, and I am going to help you with that. So I'm going to show you how to do it. We've got grilling tips galore because girls can grill. Maybe I'll do the grilling. I don't know. But I just told Mark, I said, you're going to do it. I'm going to tell you. And I gave him the grilling tips because I've been writing about this stuff for years. You Grill Girl, that was one of the things that I wrote. I believe you can still find that on Marla's site. But anyway, grilling is so delicious. And if I can stop one person from throwing a pork loin into their crock pot, then I've won. Yeah, don't ever do that. That's the whole thing. And this Friday, by the way, is our Q&A. We do, yeah, I know, right? Catherine says, yes, last time. Oh no, Mark on the grill. Last time the lights went out. I know we're holding on to our electric panel. So Friday is Q&A always. And I love it when you send in your questions. So send in your questions to support@savingdinner.com. Question for Leanne on Friday in the subject line, and I will answer your whatever question you have. Seriously, whatever question you have. Jennifer, when you try this grilled pork that I'm telling you, this recipe will knock your socks off. And do you remember when I did the whole thing on when I did a whole why can't I say it? Marinades. Remember when I did all the marinades? The marinade is, I'm telling you, if you could just embrace the marinade, and I don't care what you put in there. Marinades are so forgiving. They don't care. But if you can start embracing the marinade, your whole cooking, your whole grilling aspect will change. It's incredible. So make sure you're doing all of that. All right. You ready? Let's buckle up and get going here. Gosh, I can't believe how much time I've spent on this. I was thinking about this song. Sometimes I woke up. Amy's asking about a food sensitivity brand. I'm telling you anything. Go to Amazon and get it. You can get, just get an IgG, something that's recommended, highly recommended. And there's several on the market and they're all pretty much the same. You know, that's what I know. Make sure it's a blood IgG test. So. I'm telling you, the Marinade Show was good. It's here, you guys. If you want to go back and check out the Marinade Show, I would suggest that you do that because the marinades show you and give you the principles on how to marinate because you'll never need another recipe again. And I love being able to do things without a recipe and just walk into the kitchen, grab things and go. Don't you? Now, believe me, as a woman who creates recipes and menu plans and all of that, we use them as well. But we also need to have, how many meals are you cooking, right? A lot. So we also need to have the ability to have a ton of things that are in our back pocket. As long as we've got the ingredients in the house, we can create something. And that's part of what our show is about. So today, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here, but not right here. Downstairs, probably on my screen porch, we're going to be doing the grilling, or on my patio. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Let me just tell you, I'm going to see if I can give you a little glimpsey poo. Look at that, you guys. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That's my view today. That is my view, guys. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And over my shoulder, you can see I've got my beautiful flowers because I am in full bloom. I just spent Saturday in full bloom with all my ladies, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, we're talking today about having a clean slate. There are psychological implications to clean slates. Clean slates give us permission to clear the decks and to start over. Our clean slate, food-wise, is when we get to the place of the sprint once a month. It's on purpose, you guys. It's on purpose because as human beings, we fall apart. As human beings, we don't do things absolutely perfectly or even excellently every single day, do we? We go for it. We want that, but we fail. And that doesn't mean anything except that we're flawed humans. And welcome to the club, by the way. If you failed, raise a pinky. I'll tell you what, failure is just part of the equation. The secret to not letting failure take you down into the hole of darkness and depression is to unplug the emotion from it. To unplug from it, because you just have to accept that it's going to happen. And what happens when we do that and when we make it small and we don't make it about us and about who we are, and it's just an action that just somehow didn't come through the way we wanted to, then we can start to have a little bit more of a perspective. And we fail less. We fail less and we figure out our ways. We figure out our way. The thing is, my way isn't your way, right? Your way isn't mine. And you know what happens when we do this? We figure out our perfect plan. And when I say perfect, sorry about that, it's the wrong word. We figure out an excellent way. We figure out an excellent customized way. That goes for everything. It goes for the way we eat, the way we exercise, the way we take care of ourselves, the way we tend our homes. But we have to start clean. And when I say this, I am talking to you about your heart. And I'm talking to you about the burdens in your heart, the holes in your heart. I'm talking about the mess that we all have, you know? I would rather us be a beautiful mess on the inside with trying to figure things out than to be such a perfectionist that we're paralyzed to the place of not doing anything, or to the place of being that kind of a person that holds ourselves up as the standard to the world and thinking that we've got it all together when we really don't. And I'm going to tell you this, if you look at me and say, oh, I want to do it like you, Leanne, because you've got it together, don't. I will tell you what this is. I'm figuring it out just like you are. And I'm going to tell you something. I have cleaned up a lot of things along the way, and I've got a lot of things down that I'm really proud of. I don't have it all down. I think when I get it all down, I think God's going to call me home. That's what I believe. But there are things that I do well that I am super proud of. But you are all with me in the same place of being the beautiful messes that we are. We are flawed, messy inside. We have our own sets of pain, our own burdens. But at any point, we can clear the decks of all that emotional burden and just clear it out. And say, I'm no longer going to attach to these things emotionally or believe that this is the story of who I am. I'm just going to believe that if I can just clear this stuff up, I can create and start anew. We always hear those. We hear that stuff, get a clean slate. You're going to wash that man right out of your hair. There's always that clean aspect of getting rid of stuff that no longer serves us. We've heard this before, right? And so what I'm saying to you is exactly the same thing. To clear the decks and to clear out the stuff that is holding you back is a metaphor for all of what we need in our lives right now, today. And your home, your house, the place that you live is your dwelling place. And for you to not pay attention to that and say, I'm just going to, just write myself this, and I'm just going to do clean, food and all of that, and to not pay attention to your house is not paying attention to the big picture. And we have to look at the big picture. Where are we? We have a house, which is our home, which is what we live in. We have this house, which is our home, which is what we live in. It's our temple. It's the temple of where the Holy Spirit resides, right? We have our heart and our big, beautiful self. This is the place where we will hoard and hold on to grudges and bitterness and anger and pain and the yeah buts and the rationalizations and the excuses. And then we have our mind, where our mind's telling us that this belief system is good. This belief system is what we know. This is what we were taught. So this is what we believe. Even when these beliefs are no longer serving us, and not only that, but they're harming us, and they're keeping us locked into a place where we hate what we're around. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about the things that maybe your mother taught you, or your father, or you were in some kind of just, oppressive church or oppressive relationship or something that made you feel less than? If that's the case, clean the slate. When you clean the slate and just say, this belief no longer serves me. Because that belief, what does that belief become? And when you think about this for a minute, what does that belief become? That belief system becomes the reality in which you live. And it doesn't work. I was in a relationship where my husband was an alcoholic. He was abusive with his words. He was physically abusive a couple of times. And I lived in that believing that I needed to, otherwise I was going to be punished by God for leaving a marriage. And what I found was that God's grace is so much bigger than that teeny tiny limited belief that my church was trying to hand me and trying to push me into a closet and telling me that if I left, that they were going to censor me. I mean, there's this whole thing that went along with it. And I know that there's a lot of people that have that, are in part of those things, but that belief no longer worked for me, because that belief meant that I was going to sacrifice my children for it. I was going to sacrifice my own soul, and I was going to sacrifice the well-being of not just me, but everybody in my community, which at the time were my children and my career, everything. I had to make a decision. And my decision was that this belief is wrong. That is not who God is. God loves us. He's the one who creates a clean heart within us. He's the one who allows us to repent. I repented from what I needed to do, but the repentance means turning away from. That's right. It means you're going towards something and then you say, stop, that's it. I'm going to turn around. I am going to go the other direction. And that's what I did, But repentance gives you back your mind. It gives you back a new belief system, and it gives you back the renewal that you need, the restoration that you need, and the absolute, the power that you need. When you're in an oppressive system, you give your power away to the system. You give your power away to things that are not of God, that are not loving, that are not powerful, that are not good and right and just. You give yourself away. You destroy yourself for the bigger, for something that's just not true. It's not true. And listen, we all have limited beliefs. We all do in some way. But if we have limiting beliefs that put us in a disempowered place, if we have limiting beliefs that put us in a place where we feel less than, that we put ourselves down and we're dragging people like children maybe along with us, we got to look at that. We got to look at that, because our lives are more valuable than that. Your purpose here isn't to be oppressed. God didn't put you here to be oppressed. He put you here on a purpose to glorify Him in all that you do. And that is not glorifying Him if you are in an impressive, abusive relationship. And I wasn't planning on going on that to that degree here today, but I have to say that. I have to say that because you are worth so much more than that. And when I recognized and saw my worth was way more than that, amazing things started to happen. Amazing things started to happen. My life completely changed. For years, though, I wouldn't put my foot into a church. I wouldn't touch, I was like, that's not, whatever. I changed everything now. And lately, this is 20 years now. Lately, I have been listening to hymns. I have been reading the Bible. I have been rejoicing in God. I have been rejoicing in all that He does in my life. And it took me a long time. I always said I took a sabbatical from church. But you know what it was? I took a sabbatical from oppression. I took a sabbatical from a system that doesn't work for this particular church that I'm talking about. And you know what I did? I joined up my heart with God, and I just said to Him, you're bigger than all of that. And you will take me in my own little flawed way, and you will love me up just the way I am, in where I am, and the connections that I make. The connections that I make are the connections that are divine, because God put them all in. He did. He put the people, He put the places, and He put the things in line. And someday, when Marla and I have an opportunity to sit down side by side, we will tell the story of everything that happened, because Marla was with me every step of the way. She was my God-send friend. My God-send friend. You have to have people like that in your lives. And I promise you this, we talked about this on the weekend. When you are looking for the evidence to support the kind of life that you live, the people, the places, and the things will show up. That's what happened to me. And I promise you that that's what can happen to you too. You just need to create that space for it. And creating it is recognizing and seeing it and clearing the clutter out of the way. And I tell you this, not because I'm trying to be Fly Lady Junior or anything like that, but start with your home. When you start with your home, you can see the visual piece will give you an inner peace. Start the inner peace process. And then you start taking care of yourself with a cleaner diet and with a little bit of movement and with a proper amount of hydration and thinking things that are supportive and loving and deep and meditating and praying and realigning with God, then guess what happens? Things change. As you change within, your world changes without. Last week, or this Saturday when we had our full bloom thing, I kept saying over and over again, we have to look up at God. We have to look out at our community, and we have to look in at our hearts, at what's going on inside. When we do this, we create newness all throughout. We create a clean heart. And you know what the verses are, right? That I just absolutely adore this. It says, this is Psalm 51, 10 through 12, and I'm going to read it just because it will light you up, and it will drop in your heart, and it will plant a seed. It did in me, and it's one of the most beautiful verses I've ever read. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Do not cast me away from your presence, and don't take away your Holy Spirit. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me by your generous spirit. God is generous. God is loving and kind and can create anything. Beauty from ashes. Beauty from ashes. So if you're holding ashes in your hand right now, and if you're feeling defeated and just distraught, depressed, remember this verse, that He can restore your salvation, that He can uphold you with His generous spirit, and that you must look up. You must look out and you must look within, and you will have the joy of your life back. It is a daily practice, ladies. It is a daily practice. The practice that you have right now today of not doing anything, of being paralyzed by your perfection, is because you haven't embraced excellence. If you embrace excellence and just do one thing, one foot in front of the other, you will get some momentum going. And getting that momentum going means restoring yourself back to who you are. You are here on purpose. He loves you. He restores you. He gives you everything that you need. It is already inside of you within. Allow him to stir the pot. Allow this seed to be planted and water it daily. Meditate, use your journal, pray, and believe and look for the evidence to support the very vibrant life that you want to lead, the very purposeful life that you want to lead, because it is all within you already. I went long today. I did not mean to. I didn't mean to even go off on this tangent, which I did, but somebody needed to hear this right now. And whoever you are right now, whoever you are that has it, if you have a broken heart right now, I just want you to know that you're loved, that you're cherished, and you are adored by the Creator above. And right here in this community, and I want to bring you in. Be here every day at 1 o'clock, okay? We talk about this stuff. We go deep, and we're willing to go there. And I appreciate the fact that you guys share and that you bring other people into our community. This is a safe place. And for everything that you think that you're not, let me tell you something. You are. You are beautiful beyond compare. You are beautiful beyond what you know. And I don't want you to ever think for a minute that God has looked you over. He certainly has not. Just connect. Look up. Look up. Because he loves you, he cares about you, and he will never, ever abandon you. Pinkies up, ladies. Let's live these promises, okay? I appreciate you all so much. I will be down at 4 o'clock outside on the deck. We're going to be grilling some pork. I love you back, Joanne. Peace, ladies. Peace. Share this, and I appreciate you all. Peace. Pinkies.